So when we started the podcast, I barely got on camera. And then once we got serious about it, like I got the setup, I got real efficient with recording, right? Because before it was like, oh, I don't want to set up recording, right? I had like every excuse to just like not do it.
I was fighting you.
Recording is like really easy. Like I have no problem recording absolutely anything. I go on, basically, I treat recordings like meetings now. And it's about, meetings are slightly annoying, but I get over it after like 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. And now like recording. So that only happened because I started doing the podcast with you. I'm surprised you said it's the reverse for you, where you feel more vulnerable, because I'm pretty sure I felt the same prior to the podcast. Maybe not like vulnerable in a like, oh, I'm scared to do it, but like vulnerable meaning like subconsciously, right?
Yes.
Now it's like I don't have that at all. So I'm really surprised it's flipped.
It's flipped because the way I was showing up on camera before and even during this podcast feels safe to me. I feel fine. I feel, I can be myself. But the way I'm being driven to show up on camera for content creation for the business of Anne and the new thought leadership platform is new to me in the messaging and the way I have to show up. And I'm realizing I haven't been using camera time for that purpose. So I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. So now I feel a little bit like an idiot sometimes, to where if I have to keep showing up on camera and learning new things and learning new speaking patterns and learning new ways to say the things that I truly believe in, that's what is limiting me right now and making me feel more vulnerable. So I'm not wanting to do it more often, which is hard because I need to be doing it often.
Oh, but I feel like it's an easy solve, right?
Okay, so what? Help me.
You don't have a problem going on camera. It feels like you have a problem. Like, well, what do you say? If I'm saying this and you say not to say that, then what do I say instead? I feel like if someone told you what to say, or at least gave you a strategy, then you would just do it. So
they have. The thing is, like, my adapting of that strategy, for some reason, I'm blocking myself. I don't know why.
Oh, just make it easier. Okay. So, like, if you want to talk more about the audience, it could be, but still keep it within your tone. It could be the trend of, well, not trend, but it's a content type, which is like TIL, today I learned. And you can use that format where like, okay, it's still you, but you're learning in the purpose of, what do you think? Like I learned this experience, but I don't really know X, Y, and Z. What do you guys think? And just like talk outward then. So it's like a hybrid. It's like, I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, but it's not in a way where I'm trying to elevate myself. It's actually more of a humiliating way. Yeah. In some, I mean, it depends how you see it. I don't see it as humiliating, but maybe like that would probably be the worst possible way to think about it, is like, today I learned I'm going to be vulnerable and humiliate myself.
Yeah.
But then flip it and then talk and then give it to the audience, because then the audience is up here. Right. So even though you're talking about yourself, the audience is still up here and it's still fitting the mold that you're trying to hit, which is
I do like that. Yeah, because that feels more natural to me. I don't want to elevate myself, but now I feel like because I'm trying to break into this personal branding space, I need to elevate myself. So that's kind of where the contradiction is happening. And I don't. The truth is, I just need to continue getting on camera and pretending like it's a meeting, like what you do, because that's where the magic's been happening.
Well, it's not like this is a feeling of a meeting. No, I don't pretend like it's a meeting necessarily, because meetings have goals. Content, at least when I go on camera,
content has goals too.
No, the more I'm goal driven, the worse performance I get. Me and G, we go on camera and do some videos. Like every video we post on YouTube Shorts is like over 1,000 views, and if I had the intention saying, hey, we got to at least get 500 views per view, we would get like 200. Yeah. So we just like stopped putting goals out. We just said, let's just talk. Like we know where our audience is. So we just talk in that direction, right? We're just talking in that space. And then let's just chat. And then we just find clips and then post it. That works. And that is what our formula was. When we came in it with like marketing objectives and OKRs and all that bullshit, it just just doesn't work because then you're going to be pattern matching a lot, and marketing it just sucks when it's like you're trying to fit into a mold.
Yeah.
Once we started figuring out what our strengths were, did some testing, made it fun, and then we can be creative, and then that's when like, oh, okay, things work. Like we both, like me and G, we both know we have to talk in the perspective of our audience is listening. So we can't just like talk willy nilly either. It does have to be focused to some degree, but once you get in the habit of like, we're going to talk in this space, not this other space, but this space, because this is a space that our audience wants to listen on. Then we can it's like walking into a different room. Just be in the room, just have fun there. You could be yourself, but we're in a different room.
So you're intentionally having meetings for the purpose of content. So that's shaping what kind of meeting discussion will be had there for the content that is geared toward your audience.
Yeah, yes, that's correct. It's very similar to how we do the podcast. Like we jump on most of the time. We're pretty focused either in our individual slice of life as a founder or something related to the business that impacts us as a founder. It's like one of the two.
Yeah.
Right. So our headspace is in, I wouldn't say it's business, but I also want to say it's founder, something like in between. That's where the headspace is most of the time. Right. And then there's a blend of personal life. There's all that stuff.
Right.
But this space is only meant for the time I get on the call with you or we bring on a guest. I'm never talking like this ever in any other situation. Yep. So that's a space. This is a room that I set aside.
I love that.
Twice a week.
Yeah.
Content creation, same thing. And it's different, like for social media. And then I have different types, right? So we have like content, like we're just like shooting the shit. Like this is basically almost every other post. That's the content creation we mostly do. And then we have some strategic ones that we kind of deploy, we test them out. We know they get less engagement, but they're kind of necessary for the business, which is like maybe do one post every 20 posts. We'll do one of like, talk about the product, talk about the brand.
Okay.
We know it's going to get low content, but there's new subscribers, there's new followers, so they'll see it.
So there's some strategy there for sure.
A little bit. I mean, we have to be very careful because we just don't want to spam ads. It's just like, especially in today's world, it's like it's the least thing we want to do. So it's a very careful thing to do.
Sure.
I mean, that's our strategy, and we're still really early on it. We figured out. I took the whole podcast format for social media from us because I was like, okay, this idea works. I just need to figure out how to make it work even better. And, we figured it out for Chipbot, and then like now we can build on that as a foundation. And so it's like social media started out, figure out a room, but the room was blank. Then we figured out, okay, for the furniture, what does the furniture look like? We don't really know, but it's gotta be something we like. So we experiment with the furniture and then we got the furniture right. Now we're trying to make it like, okay, we need to make it aesthetically pleasing, right? It needs to look good. Now we got the right furniture, but it's not complete. And that's the stage we're at now, where it's like, once it looks complete, then the next stage after that is how can we connect the monetization piece of this? Not like monetizing per post from YouTube, but like if we want to promote Chipbot, what does that look like now with a complete styled room? So
I really appreciate how calculated this feels because it's just not my personality. And I think this is great attention to detail of seeing in the content as marketing. There is a data point. There is some type of feedback that's guiding you into how you're exploring that room and what you do with it. And that analogy is really hitting for me. I think the use of like having a house and maybe you're stuck in one room and then you need to get to another, or maybe that doesn't exist in that room. Maybe that needs to belong in another room. I think that that's a really great analogy for a lot of people because it is easy to compartmentalize where you're showing up in your life. Like you said, I show up this way in the podcast. I don't show up anywhere else like this in my life, which is great. Maybe this is like your bathroom, right? Or your closet. I don't know. Where are you going to keep this conversation? I'm not taking
the podcast to the bathroom.
But then you have other rooms that you venture out to for different parts of you. I think that's wonderful. And I do see that as perhaps there is something that belongs in both rooms. Maybe there's a specific piece that you say, oh, well, actually, this would benefit both audiences.
No. Hold on. This is where I would tweak that. Just keep the door open. If the door is open, you actually have two rooms.
You can walk in and out. Yeah.
It's like they're not blocked.
I love that.
I can still see my bathroom, right? The bathroom door is open. I still see it.
Yeah.
So to me, it's part of the main space. If I close it, then great. There's no bathroom, right?
Uh-huh.
That's kind of how I see a lot of things because you have to have a little bit of boundary, a little bit, just because it's different mindset. Everything's different.
Sure. It is different mindset.
My
Yeah.
program mode, I can't, where I'm sitting right now, I can work, but I cannot code exactly where I'm sitting now.
Why
This
not?
is my creative space a little bit. This is a space where like I really don't think in logical terms, and I try not to actually.
Oh,
I have like a whole desk over there that I don't sit in a lot, but that's the desk where I need to do maybe like programming work or something with software, something that's like, that's not boring, but it requires just like
flow state.
logical thinking algorithm stuff. And I go
What's
to coffee
different
shops
about
too.
that desk over there versus where you are right now?
Wait, can you say that one more time?
What's different about that desk over there versus where you are right now?
It's, well, the other desk is like, that's where I make a lot of money. It's basically a money desk, right? So if I sit there, I'm printing cash, maybe not immediately, but I'm printing cash for the future self.
Okay.
That means it's definitely very focused work. That means I come in there with a to-do list, actually.
Right.
I'm not there in like, what am I going to work on today? That's not that space. That space is like, get shit done and come out. So I don't like sitting there because
you don't like sitting there?
No, because I got to be well prepared. I got to be really well prepared. But if I'm well prepared, that's when shit gets really get done. So
Okay.
And there's another space.
I was asking, does it physically look different than the space that you're in now?
Not really.
Okay.
It's just it feels different. Like I'm sitting on this really comfy, I don't even know what this is. It's supposed to be an ottoman, but it's not. It's so large. I use it as a main seat.
Okay.
And it's really comfortable. But my other setup, it's got like the most expensive office chair you can have. It's got the ultra wide monitor.
Sure.
It's got a huge desk space. Right?
It's bougie equipment to show you where you're going to make the bougie cash.
Right. Well, the nice thing is that I bought this stuff like 10 years ago. This stuff is like, especially like Herman Miller chairs, like that thing will last forever.
It will last forever.
So it is expensive, but keep in mind over the past, 9 years, not 10 years. Past 9 years, I've had this set up across 3 different locations.
Okay.
It's rock solid. The desk weighs like 200 pounds and it's just a metal frame and a slab of wood. Right. So it's really minimal, but the setup is like, although it is pricey, but that also sets the tone too. But it is just meant to be like high efficiency.
Yes.
Work on a computer.
I love that. It's tried and true. It's been with you forever, right? It's what you prefer, which is great. I think that alone is actually what I was getting at, was those are pieces of furniture that are long lasting, that were expensive, but if you were to look at the price per year that you're using it,
I'm saving money 100%. My wife has been through like 4 chairs. I'm like, you have spent more money on chairs than what I've spent on my one chair.
But what's great about that, Matt, is that desk set is grounded. It's foundational. It's sustainable.
No, it's complete. It's not just fun. It's so we go through like the iteration of what I was saying with the room. It is a complete room.
Yeah.
And I can come in and out, no problem. I don't like being in it because it's complete. If you think about it, the rooms in your home that are really solid, those are the most boring rooms. The rooms that you still have to work on are the ones that are more interesting.
Oh my gosh, I love this. This is a wonderful analogy. Absolutely. If there is creative space, if there is a little bit left on the canvas and you walk in and go, ooh, what can I do with this space today? Your brain starts to evolve. You like being there because you not only are you existing in that space, but you're thinking more and more about how you could use it better or evolve it for your needs or for fun. I have a space like that at our home. And I actually love being there. But as our family gets older and our kids get older, we absolutely love doing board games and puzzles now. And almost all of us can play the same ones. Our 6-year-old is very smart and a great reader. So she's now we're doing family trivia.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, it's phenomenal. The kind of words that she's reading on these questions is great. And so we're all finally at that fun level where we're finally getting our dream of like having dinner and game night. But the dining room table it's massive. I bought a very large table with a big leaf in it so we can see 8 to 10 people if we wanted to, but it seats us 5 comfortably.
Mm-hmm.
That whole table is 85% covered with games and puzzles that we've just left, and we can't eat there. And I get frustrated because I've seen the need in that big open room space for a game table. Where are we going to fit the activity table that our family loves to do together while having space? But it can't be in the basement because no one likes the basement, even though the basement's the playroom. It can't be down there. It's not as social as the room upstairs. The room upstairs has wood and it's warm and it has high vaulted ceilings and it feels open. There is a difference in that environment. And it's very clear that our family will not go to the basement for game rooms, but we will go upstairs. So now I'm trying to pivot and looking at all the spaces we have up there and getting really cool ideas for maybe spaces that tuck away or maybe something that's more collapsible, but we can have it where we don't have to eat. I love this analogy because I love interior design. I do that as a hobby. And so when I'm looking at a space in a room, when you equate business and content and conversations and how our minds need to show up at work to a house, that is incredible. Or not even a house, just a space with different rooms, because I get it, right? And each room is going to serve a different purpose for your needs. So
I think only people who run businesses, even though I have a team, I still operate a lot like a one-man band. I am on every call almost for sales. I'm on a lot of, even though I'm not doing the support questions, I watch every message. And when you do everything, and I'm very much involved in marketing and I still do a lot of product.
Yeah.
So I'm a one-man band, and because of that, I need ways to be able to context change, but not do it in a way that burns myself out, right? Because it's very easy to get behind in work if you're trying to do everything, right? I wouldn't recommend my strategy to anyone. I think I should hire more people, but at the end of the day, like I just want more profits. So it's nice that I'd rather have, right now it's like I'm enjoying the idea of growing the profit.
I want to give you some grace real quick before you move on and say that for this time in your life, what you're doing feels good to you. Do you recommend other people do it? No. Is it the model that you want to have forever? No. But I think it's really fair for you to say, for where you are right now, it feels good and you're burning through it, right?
Yeah.
And that's
to me,
okay
this
too.
is like, there's a shit ton of chaos everywhere. But to me, it's like, from the current moment, I am definitely happy. I wouldn't even say definitely happy in the current situation. I don't even have any regrets on what I am today. So if I had to replay, I would be in the same exact spot at the same exact age.
I love that. Okay, go on. Yeah.
Dude, I forgot
your train of thought. I know. I knew I was going to break it. I'm sorry. You were saying I wouldn't recommend this to anybody, but it's chaos. You need to hire more. Yeah.
So like, so as a founder, dude, I feel like I'm getting old. I can't remember anything anymore.
Oh, Matt.
So
we are. Don't worry.
So like, as a founder, you need kind of shortcuts to say, I need a context switch without the cons of context switching, right? Because it's like really easy to say, I'm gonna work on one. I say you have 4 different things you have to work on, like distinct, like they're totally in different universes. They all have to get done in one day.
Okay.
Well, what if one is falling behind? It's going to mess everything up later. And then your head is like trying to go in these other spaces of like, well, these other things take more time. I'm running out. You have to be able to have different rooms because it allows you to transition a lot better when things aren't working well. So I'll give you an example. Say I got to do a programming test and a marketing test same day, and I'm just behind in programming. Both of them have to get done today.
Yeah.
And I'm behind, and it is, and most likely something's going to have to be sacrificed. What I'll often do is be like, okay, I'm going to take lunch. I'm going to wind down a little bit from programming, and I'm going to shift gears and focus on marketing. And I'm just like, I'll be work at a coffee shop. I'll just go somewhere else. And then I'll work on marketing. And then what often happens is I'm really efficient. My brain is just working on that room, like that part really well that day. And I come back home early from the coffee shop, I would finish the program, and then programming task is done. But if I had just stayed gung ho on like the programming tasks, I may have never even got to the point of finishing marketing. And then also, if I had just stayed at my desk the whole time,
Yes,
I would just be
absolutely.
so like, just get it done, get it done, get it done. And then
Yeah.
like everything just decreases in quality when you think like that too. Like now you're just rushing to finish a deadline
Yes.
and not finishing it in the fact that customer, whatever, whether it's, if it's a product, it's customers, if it's content, it's audience, right? You have to think on who the consumer is. If you think about deadline, then you're not thinking about consumer. You're thinking about your own personal goal that it's tied to a bigger purpose, but it's not the right line of thinking, right? I don't want to ship something and be like, and then like I kind of regret doing this because it's not really good for my customer, but at least I finished the goal. I never want to be like that. I want to be like, I'm gonna finish it and I'm proud to send this over.
Yes. So I call this change your environment, change your mindset. And I work like this a lot because for me, one of the biggest realizations I had that for years was ridding me with guilt and I couldn't figure out why. It was just, I never gave myself permission to change my environment. But I was a work from home parent, for a long time, thinking that I had to just work from home because I really didn't want to have to go to a coffee shop or, find a co-working space that day. It was really just a mixture of a lot of things. It was, I should be able to work from home. What's wrong with me? I should be able to multitask and manage all of those expectations. What I didn't realize was I was actually getting in my own way. Like you've said, when I do heads down time or admin or calendar or scheduling, I love to be at a coffee shop. So I started reserving Monday mornings for that. So I have a 2 to 3 hour block on Monday mornings that just says Anne's coffee shop time. And I know how I'm going to function in a coffee shop because like you said, by default, I get into that environment and my brain just does it and does it, more effectively than I would in a different environment. So
coffee shops are really good hacks, actually, because everyone else, even if you don't know what they're doing, everyone feels like they're working. They're doing something productive.
It's productivity. Your brain is seeing this productivity all around you, and you can't help but just get in your own shit. And you're like, well, I better be productive. And I have the most wonderful coffee shop by my house. It's actually where I recorded our last episode because get this, it was snowing. It was the worst day to drive. I witnessed a car accident, as I told you, on my way to the coffee shop. Like, it's not a day that anyone in Colorado wanted to leave their house. If you work from home, you're like singing praises and you're in sweatpants that day. Well, I knew if I work from home, there are very rare days in the month that I want to work from home and that I can work from home, that I know if I do, I will still get something done, but it's not often. So about 1.5 years ago, I recognized that change of environment and ended up getting myself an office, which was great. But I knew I didn't want to be alone in the office because that's the lonely life of an entrepreneur. So it's within a co-working space that also has other small business office. And I even got myself an office mate, a woman who I absolutely loved from a networking event who also wanted office space. So I think there's something to be said that if something's pulling at you and you're saying, I need to change my environment. I was sick of bouncing around to co-working. I was sick of having to pack up everything every day and then pack it, and go to the same co-working every day. I wanted a space that was like my second home. I wanted it to own it, essentially, So I only am here. There are some weeks, Matt, I still don't even come to my office. I pay rent here.
No, I'm the same way. I
don't even want anything to do with it this week, which is weird.
So I think this is where I think COVID changed just a little bit because everyone's forced to work at home for a bit.
Yeah.
I think, but prior to that, it was no problem working in office. But now that we've had a taste from home, but we also don't like always being at home. And we also like some aspects of office, but most of the aspects we don't. Yeah. I think what happens is a lot of founders who are one-man band shops, I think being more of a digital nomad is probably going to be the path, which is you work wherever you want, but you're most productive when there's a element of travel component to it, even if it's a 5-minute travel.
Yes.
Right.
Have you heard that joke that if you work from home, a lot of people who work from home still get dressed and get in the car and they drive 5-10 minutes around the block and listen to a book or a podcast and then they go back home and start their day?
I've heard that. I have
some friends who do that. They're actually fellow parents at our elementary school. And we were all talking about it the other day at pickup and they were joking. They're like, no, even in the snow, I have to get in my car and I have to just drive. And that's wonderful. You listen to something, you listen to music or a book or a podcast. I'm listening right now to More by Cynthia Erigo. Is that how you pronounce her last name? She's the woman who played the Wicked Witch in Wicked. And she's phenomenal. I'm butchering this. I apologize to all of the diehard fans. She's wonderful. But this book, More, has been so inspirational for me. And I'm like, I want to stay in the car and drive longer because I want to listen to more of my book. But I think that mindset, whatever you use to kind of get you into whatever mode you're looking for that day to pull energy from, podcasts, books, songs, talking to a friend, right? Calling somebody. I think that car time is so special and so crucial. And so I think that if I am truly supposed to be working from home one day for whatever reason, I actually think getting in the car to go somewhere helps set you up. And I didn't even realize the days I do work from home, if I have to, it's because I have like a dentist appointment or I have a kid's doctor's appointment on that side of town that's closer to my house. I'm like, I don't even want to get to the office. It'd be for 2 or 3 hours. I'll just stay at home. But I didn't realize that appointment in the morning, I always set my appointments for first thing in the morning because it gets me in the car to do something different. And then I'm in the car and then I drop the kid off at school or whatever we're doing. And then I have to go home and work, but I've gotten in the car. Right? So it's like those little tricks that you do. If you just wake up, have your breakfast and coffee, stay at home all day, get dressed or stay in your robe and work from home. I envy those minds who can do that. Right. And my husband's one of them. Like
so let's go back to the social media stuff. Right. Yeah. So being in the uncomfortable way of recording and how to get in that mindset, you just solved it. Okay. Dress up then. Get ready to go on camera.
Yes.
Go in a different spot. Right.
Yes.
Stop messing around. Like stop wasting time.
Thanks, Matt.
It's like really that simple.
I need to whip it into gear. I need to put content days on my calendar, which was this huge aha that just flipped of like, content is a meeting you show up for. Like you said, you get ready, you find your environment, you create the good lighting, the sound, you get ready, get your ass ready. And you have a block of time that you just get on camera and you record. And
so I will say one note with the calendar thing. It is G and I, when we do the Chipbot recording, we only record when we have a good sense of what we want to talk about. Because if we just go on there, especially last minute and not have a good conversation or
like our podcasts,
you and I work better because we're on two sides of the spectrum. We're on the opposite side of the spectrum. G and I were very much closer on the same side. So both of us have a hard time figuring out what the topics are in demand. You can kind of give me topics right away. And I'm really good at taking just random ideas and putting a real idea. I have a problem with kickstarting. So you can kickstart for me and I'm problem. And so that's like you and I are much better for like improv basically.
We're a great improv team. That's all this is, guys. This is all the podcast is. It's improv.
So, but if you put content on a calendar, and you are not well prepared in the mindset that you're going to crush it that moment, you're going to come up half-assed too.
Yeah.
And then what happens is the next calendar meeting, you feel like, I just want to do better. And what happens is you get this doom cycle of like, I wish it could be better, I wish it could be better. And that's when creativity starts dying.
Interesting.
So just be careful with the calendar thing, because I did that too. And I'm probably susceptible to this sometimes with the podcast, because there are definitely some days where I'm just like brain dead. I cannot think of anything.
I can tell. I mean, when we get on and you're like, hey, like you're tired.
And I try, but like, I know like not every day I can. So just keep in mind the social media stuff, although you have to be consistent, you can, unlike the podcast where we do have to show up more frequently, social media content, it is definitely possible to say, I'm just going to record at least once a week. I don't know where, but whatever week that feels like, it has to be done. And it'll come, all the magic moment will come and I'll know this is the time to record. Maybe it's tomorrow, right? You can give yourself a little heads up, and then
find that magic moment every week.
Yeah. And then just do that. And then 1 hour of recording is like, me and Jeet do like 30 to 60 minutes of recording, and it's like 11, 12 posts. And we don't post them all at once. Like we actually, like, cause we're wearing the same thing. We don't want the same, well, we're trying to right now. We don't want
Sure.
the same post to be in sequence. So we'll actually just spread them out because the content's
Outfit
generic.
changes.
It's not time-based content. It's not like the news or anything. So
Yeah.
we can batch it out way better. Like we tried it in podcast. It's very hard to do it, but in social media, it's 30 minutes, right? In social media content, the shorts are like 30 seconds. So it's really easy to just record 30 minutes and you're actually good for like 2 weeks worth of content.
Right. You know what my husband said? This is funny. It's reminding me of something we just talked about. I am seeking to build up more of my public speaking muscle since I'm heading that way and talk in front of audiences. And so I've been looking for keynote speech spots in Q1. And my husband is great with content and capturing and angles and all of the things. And so any of these events that we can have him come and just be my content person, we will. So we were talking strategy the other night and he goes, if we're looking for more content of you speaking, he goes, can you work in a wardrobe change or two in the same keynote? And I was like, I don't think so. My brain, of course, is very limiting. And then he goes, yeah, but what you could talk about personal branding and how your look is like your logo as a human being. And you could work in some type of a content, like a costume change or an outfit change in the same keynote so that you're getting like 2 or 3 different looks in one speech.
That's true, but the intent is wrong.
Yeah.
It's true, but it's like thinking you're solving the wrong problem.
Right.
Right. It's how you look and what you are is not as meaningful as the idea that you can be in more in one spot and talking to a larger audience. And it just so happens you're recording it. Because
you just gave me an idea though of like a stage, but you have 2 or 3 different sets. Because remember, I have this theater background, right? So I'm really trying to tap into that. And you could do a whole speech. I could do a whole 30-minute keynote where 10 minutes of each of that is in a different location on that stage and in like a different set or a room, and talk about change your environment, change your mindset, and how that's going to impact the productivity you have at work. And then change my blazer or my button up or something on top of that and be in a different space. You
could do definitely a good 30-second short on that.
Because, I know.
You know why? Because visualizing the analogy that we brought up on this podcast is very powerful, right? Because the working mode that I do for creative, I rarely dress up. I'll be honest. I am a bum most of the time. I've seen the table tennis jerseys and I wear athleisure too. I'm very much comfortable. Go to the gym, be ready for anything. I don't love dressing up all the time. I have to force myself. I went to there's this like super expensive omakase restaurant called Uchi in Houston. One time, when I first moved here, I didn't know what it was. I just walked in. I'm walking in. And
Did you know Uchi is my absolute favorite restaurant from Austin? And it was
the same
first
one.
in Austin.
I walked in. I'm in like gym clothes. I'm sweaty, and like I just walk in like, "Yo, you guys have some good food in here." And like I didn't know it was like this Michelin star restaurant. They didn't care. They were really nice. And then I was like, "But that's like me. I don't care. I don't look up anything. I'm like so I really dress up. The point is I really dress up. But there are some times when I just want to give a certain message across to the audience.
Sure.
And I know I just can't be looking like a bum for that message.
Right.
And again, that goes into the mindset of a different room. I would never do that, ever in my life, do that for working for coding, or even when I meet in person. I could be meeting investors. I'm dressing however I want. I might wear a blazer. That might be the only thing, just so I don't look like younger than I already am, right? That's really it. I walk in, people think like I'm coming out of college.
A child is leading this meeting.
Right.
What are we doing?
So that's the only. I need some type of impression. It's like other than like I want to look like I wear a backpack. I literally look like I'm from college. So besides that, so that means like I rarely dress up for anything. But if I know what message I need to deliver and I have to be in a certain attire for other people to take me seriously, then I will do it. Mm-hmm. The reason why I don't need to do that for meetings is because my voice is what the being live and my nuance of my body language, I can take over that's my impression, right? Mm-hmm. But in a video, where people can swipe away. There's so many reasons to be disconnected.
Yeah.
If you have a very important message and attire matters, play it, because you only got 1 to 3 seconds to make that impression. So when you're talking about like these different stages, the first thing that comes into mind is the 1 to 3 second hook, because some of those stages matter for certain audiences. And that might be one of the reasons why they stay for another 33 seconds.
Right.
Not necessarily in this long form video, but I actually just think of it as attention span for everyone is like literally it's nanoseconds. It's just seconds. Like it's we at Chipbot, we say it's 3 seconds. I know it's shorter than that, but you know, I give a little credit to at least people who are a little older.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that matters. So I 100%, I love the idea of changing your attire, changing your scene, but also tying it with everything, the message, the intent, the purpose, just everything. And then that shouldn't define it. That's just table stakes. And then the creativity is on top of it.
Right.
Right. So like, yeah, if I'm dressing up on an important message, whatever it is, then most likely the content is going to be something I've never done before. And that sets the tone as well. Yeah. Right. And that goes into a whole room changes, right? Most likely I wouldn't be recording like that in this setting either. This is my chill setting. I'm going to be in a completely different setting too for that. It's a different mindset. Here's another analogy. So this is more for sports. When you're in a competition, there are 2 modes. There is playing and then there is winning.
I love that.
Winning, even if you're playing someone better and your odds to lose are 99.9%, you're supposed to lose. You can still make the other person uncomfortable if you have a winning mindset, right?
Yes.
It's a difference between getting crushed and having a good match. It's a very two different things. Even though you're going to lose no matter what, it's very different. And if you're in it to win it, everyone's has a different winning mindset. My winning mindset is a rare one. I think it's rare. It's more a silent assassin. I
love that. The silent assassin. You need to dress in like ninja clothes or something.
Maybe. I'm much better in table tennis when I just show no emotion and I'm just there. And I almost treat it like work, which this is something I learned recently. Like I used to play table tennis for fun. Which I do. I love the sport, but in a competition, I learned it's not fun. And I had to flip my brain on that recently. When I treat it as not fun, boy, I'm a monster in that game.
Yeah.
Because then I started realizing this is what it takes to win. This is what winning mindset is. I'm kind of visualizing how to win. Yeah. What does winning look like already in the competition? How am I going to crush this person? How do I make this person be so frustrated they want to quit the sport? That mindset's still different. So like, again, I'm in a different space, but I also flip my brain as well. So you think about,
but do you switch your environment of where you're playing based on playing for fun?
No, the tournaments are, because of the venue, it's already a different environment already.
Right. Okay.
But to me, it's like once you see a bunch of tables, you get the wide open, there's a lot of people, there's everyone's recording, like that all feels the same to me anyway. So that very feels, it's not as different as it used to be. But that in itself, as a collective, tournament mode means it's work mode. It's not fun mode. I'm here to make people cry. That's my job. Yeah. Same thing with creating marketing content that you feel uncomfortable. If getting dressed up is part of it, that's still not enough. That's just table stakes. Then you have to be in the mode of, boy, how do I speak my mind in the way that is going to make the biggest impact? Let's just say it like that, because you can't speak it as like, oh, what do people want to listen to? That's not it either, because then you're going to follow everyone's trend. Exactly. So you have to be like, how do I make the biggest impact? And then impact needs to be defined of who you're trying to connect. That's it. Yeah. And then the rest can be built upon it. And then once you're in that idea of like, I just want to make the best shit possible, it's no different than saying, I just want to win as bad as possible. It's really the same. You have to get in this trance of, you got to crush it, and you have to visualize. You have to visualize it too. You do. I've learned.
And you know what? I want to take a pause for that, because that's something that I've been shifting over into with content creation, which is visualizing it. And thinking about what I'm going to look like, what the scene's going to look like, what I'm going to be wearing, and who I'm going to be talking to, because that all takes strategy. And I think when you just wing it and you jump on camera, which has been what I've been doing with social media my entire life, I'm shifting the habit. And when you're changing a habit, you have to be intentional about that, which means to visualize, you have to stop and actually pause. And the work is in thinking. You're thinking about, you're seeing
That's
it, you're
true.
quieting what you're doing in your mind. You actually have to create space in your time to visualize what that's going to look like, to like think about it and close your eyes and actually think about it. And that is the work that I feel I have been neglecting myself of.
Uh, so there's a very easy hack for that. And no, it will not fit your personality, but if you try it, it might work.
Okay.
Stop listening to audiobooks and start reading them.
Why?
Because you're forced to visualize what's happening then. You
Oh.
cannot enjoy yourself reading a book if you're not visualizing it. Because then you're just reading.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, because I hate reading books.
Yeah. So, but if you practice, if you visualize it, then you're good. So like today, like I used to be a terrible reader when I grew up as a kid. It's just somewhere, I don't know,
Same.
I figured things out.
Yeah.
And everything I read, I visualize. I think of like multiple scenarios, hypothetical scenarios in my brain that I would never say out loud, but it happens in my brain when I read. It's all visualization. If you get used to that, then it's easier to envision outcomes then, right? So it's like, I know for a fact that this podcast will blow up in a way that we can't predict, but I don't know when, I don't know where, I don't know how. I do know it requires pivoting a lot, but I know for a fact we have done too many episodes now where it's like we've been through enough cycles. I feel like and then we can now improve the cycles. So that means like we can't go down. This is basically how I say it. So now I'm in a very I can now visualize the winning piece. I couldn't do that when we first started. Now I can't because we have enough.
I have visualized it too. That's really interesting that you said that today, because I keep getting the Webby Awards ads in my social media for top podcasts. And I keep looking at that this week, and I just kind of first just sloughed it off, whatever. But then it started hitting me a bit more, and I see the Webby Awards, and it was like, apply now and submit your podcast for the web. And then the same week, I got all the pictures back from my first award that I submitted myself to because I actually applied, which was the C-Level Awards for all C-Level leaders in Colorado. And I won one. Mm-hmm. And then that to me was something that was really hard for me to show up for, because I felt like, well, I applied and then I got it. So like, is that what you're just supposed to do for these awards and accolades? And then everybody's like, yes, like you actually have to apply yourself or your thing or your project to be considered. And like, there was just some thought in my head that was like, holy shit, you actually have to apply yourself, which is what all your teachers say since kindergarten. And I'm like, I fucking applied. Oh, okay. And then you get it, but you don't always get it, right? So that was just the first one. And then I won it. So I'm like, is that all you do? Right? Which is not good. But then the Webbies kept coming up, and I was like, our podcast is going to be so big. I have the same vision as you, right? And what we're doing here, and the mission that we have, and the kind of founders we want to interview, and the stories that we want to tell. And the Webbies just kept coming up, and I was like, we're not ready yet, but someday. I think that was a sign
it's going to be reversed. I guarantee, because my measurement of success and everything is really just based on listener count. So if Webby Words comes, it's because they're late. It's not because we apply. Here's my stance on a lot of things. And this is how I grew Chipbot, but it's also the reason why it took forever. Mm-hmm. Is and the reverse. I let the things that need to come to me versus me go to them.
Okay.
Because it's an organic way. I am, as you know me, like
that feels more authentic to me as well, which is why applying for something felt strange. Go on.
Applying, it's fine. So, but it's like, I like it the other way around because it's the harder path.
Sure.
The other path works too, but it's easier in a way to get recognition, but harder in a way where the recognition is a little more shallow than if it came the other way around. That's how I want to be on such good ground that there's nothing, like I don't need the award. That's where my head's at all the time.
Right.
So, when I think about visualizing the wins, I see the podcast just in a way where, to me, the where I see success is people will listen to this podcast and they can relate, not only relate, but apply some of the things in their day to day as a founder.
Yeah.
That's the biggest vision impact I see. And I say like people, I mean like maybe 1% of founders in the world.
Right.
Right. Like
Because
even
founder
that.
life is so lonely. Founder life is very isolating. When you are starting, when you see your vision, you see it so much, you love it so much that you activate on that and you found something to see that through. That level of passion is very rare, I will
Well, it's
say.
hard.
It's hard.
So you said passion, right? So a lot of it, for most people, the passion does not meet the financial intersection.
Correct.
Unfortunately, not
Mm-hmm.
only is it lonely, but you also
Yeah.
don't know that statistically, you're already going to fail. Most people don't. There's a very high chance of failure, but
Right.
a lot of people don't know you are 100% going to fail unless you change something. A lot of
Yes.
people do not know that either, and that's the
Yeah.
lonely piece.
Yeah.
Right there, I'm sure I'm maybe even right now I could be in that situation, even with my
Mm-hmm.
team, because I have
Mm-hmm.
no one to compare. It's really hard to find people who are like just one step ahead of me or one step below me, because
Yeah.
that's who I really need. But it's really hard to
Sure.
find people like that. Like,
Yeah.
and
Modeling.
it's either way
Modeling
up
of
here or way down here, and it's the gap is too large for me to make and understand it.
exactly. Yeah. You're and finding your rooms, right? That's something that I've been struggling with a lot in the recent years of being a founder is finding the right rooms, of really defining who I am, where I am in the journey, and where I'm going next. And is that too far? Is that not far enough? That's not really me. They're kind of like me. There's little snippets of founders and business owners who I've met that I've taken something from, but I've really been struggling with that a lot actually this year, especially with people. Just kind of asking these questions in these coffee chats of what does your org structure look like? Like what is your team structure? What does your support look like? I haven't found the right thing perfectly, but I found enough to kind of piece together a model that has evolved into what I think makes sense for me that I have to try. And the thing with founder life is you have to be ballsy enough to just try. You have an idea, you have to be
That's
brave.
table stakes. That's
You
table
have to
stakes. So
you have to
it's like
try.
if you're not trying, you're already dead in the
You're already
water.
dead. Yeah. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
try and you go, ooh, that didn't feel good, or that doesn't work, or oh, okay, that worked. Like your shorts, you look at something and go, holy shit, okay, that got over 1,000 views. This one got 200. You have to look at it and just try and say, well, what works? And like you said, you have to be willing to change, but quickly. And that
Yeah.
drastic change is it's a little bit, that's I think what causes us to go in that manic place sometimes, because we're changing and evolving so much that there's not a lot of steady constant, and it draws a lot of high and low, and we're getting a lot of feedback from the outside of if is what we're doing productive and successful and going to get us the goal. And so because there's that outside feedback, as a human, just human nature, if you're getting negative outside feedback, that's going to really, affect you.
Well, hold on. So you just define why it's important to have a strong network where you're the B player and everyone else is an A player,
Correct.
because that's the only reason that's like the easiest way you can be pushed further ahead. If you're
Yes.
in your own space, no one's really pushing you to pivot to make those changes quickly.
Yeah.
So so when I think about this podcast, I think of it as, okay, I think for every 100 founders listening, one of them, we can make them pivot faster than if they didn't listen to the podcast. That's my
Yes.
goal. And
Yes.
that's where I vision the future for sure. Like
Yeah. And
100%.
my goal is the mental health game in founder life. I love doing this podcast because if we can affect one founder who's having a really negative mental health day or week or whatever that looks like in founder life, to inspire them that they're not alone, to relate, to give them a sense of belonging, that founder life can fucking suck, and it is not always financially lucrative, and it's really hard. And just some of the topics that we talk about, or with the interviews that we have with guests, I really want just one founder every time, someone listens to our show to say, okay, I can do this, right? And change that mental health game where they are, because for me, that's most important, right?
So then and maybe we think about this as we do content strategy, but then that means for every episode, if we think about for every 100 listeners, those two things need to apply.
Yeah.
It may not be always exclusive, right? So it could be like, it could be mix and match, but then every episode, there has to be one impact where we can move someone. Maybe they might want to pivot faster. And then also in the same episode, a different listener or the same listener also gets the idea of it's more like a therapy session a little bit.
Yes.
Even if they're a fly on the wall listening, it's more of like, oh yeah, I can relate to this. Yeah, I have that same problem. Oh, this is, maybe we solved something, maybe we didn't, but we at least we brought light into an idea.
Right. Yep. I love that.
And then just to tie this whole thing up, then that ties in with how you can move forward with your content creation, because part of it is you do have to pivot. So right now I can see you're stuck. I can already see, like, you can definitely see that if content creation is just, that new form is just not, then something else needs to change. Could be the room. Maybe you got to be in a different environment, but it's probably going to be something deeper in your head. Because for me, I had so many procrastination reasons not to get on camera. And then once we started podcasting, now my whole life is kind of flipped. So now now nothing stops me now. But in the past, I needed this trigger. There's a reason why I invested so much time and effort in it, because I knew it was part of it. I knew it was going to be a good thing for me. I just didn't know what. Yeah. It's a gut feeling thing. So for you, I think it's like, you got to figure out what your you need to figure out the trigger. You need to figure out the atmosphere, the room, the setting, the mindset, especially the winning mindset. Yeah. And then things come in, and it doesn't all happen at once. It happens in kind of a fragmented baby step, but you do have to put intentional effort to figure out what changes. Sometimes it might mean you can't create content alone. For me, I cannot create content alone. I have tried. It's I don't like doing it.
Which is why we really wanted to do this together.
Right. Yeah. So if maybe that could be like something we didn't really talk about. That could be something that maybe that's why we like talking with each other. That also might mean that if you're trying to create your personal brand, you might need more than one person to help elevate that. That fits your personal brand ethos. A trigger, some type of trigger. It may not be like every post, but it could be, that's where the experimentation comes in. You have to see what is going to kick things off. And I know once you get a good kickoff, things are good. Ever since October is when I started my new content strategy for Chipbot. Like, I had to do it, but once I got a good rhythm going, and I got one good win, and then everything else was easy. Okay. So experiment on set.
That's really
you'll find it. You'll find it. If I found it, you should find it even faster. That's how I see it.
And I think just putting that awareness around finding that trigger, that resonated with me. What is that trigger that this is what we're doing right now? This is the time. This takes focus. This takes energy. It's like acting. How did I prepare for every show I was in since the age of 4? I have a degree in theater and directing, right? There's a reason when you perform, content creation is performative. It's still me. It's authentically me and my message and what I want to share, but it is performative. It is, you create the costume, you create the backdrop, you create the scene, and you get into character. And I think that is that clicked for me today of, there is a trigger.
Oh, I know. All right. I could be wrong on this, but I know one trap that I think you would fall into is the time input. So creative, it doesn't matter if it's 8 hours or 1 minute. If it means 8 hours to get the best content for a 30-second clip, then so be it. Ooh. Because I know you're in the services, so your time is money. That's correct. Content creation, time is not money.
Ooh, man, that's a whole other episode, Matt.
I don't think so. It's just that statement. It's just that statement.
I think that's a really valuable topic sometime to talk about. When your time equals money, how do you do a task where time can't equal money?
Well, my time we'll definitely have this in our topic for sure. I love that topic actually. But like, time is not, there's synchronous time and async. And I won't get too much in detail, but I'm pretty certain are mostly sync, meaning if you spend 160 hours in 1 month, you do expect money or some value come back. It doesn't have to be money. Something coming back
Yes.
Almost immediate, not almost immediate, maybe at least like within 30 days. We'll say it like that. Within 30 days, something comes back.
How did you know my contract terms? No, go on.
Well, it doesn't have to be that. It could be like net 30 days for like you're taking care of your kids. Maybe you're trying. You have to get better in 30 days, right?
Yep.
You have to, whatever you do, you have to get results pretty fast.
Yes.
Content creation is not that. 100% is not that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might spend 160 hours for a 10-second post.
God, and that feels so overwhelmingly disappointing.
No, because you're thinking like a consultant.
I know. This is the first time this has ever been addressed for me. That's why this is a big
I used to be a consultant, so I understand. My dad is still like in consulting world too, and that's huge.
I mean, all the time. Yeah, that's hard. That disappointing feeling of like, holy shit, I'm going to spend
that's not even, no. Let me make it 10 seconds even easier. Content. 1 year of effort for 10 seconds of content. Sometimes that's, but think about it. If that's what it takes to break through the glass window, why would that sounds easy? If you look at it another way, would you rather spin your wheels on creating all this content and you're barely getting anywhere 1 year, or would rather say, I'm going to focus on the best possible thing I can do, and I'm only going to do it for 10, and it's only going to be a 10-second video, and so I spend a whole year doing it, but I know at the end I'm going to be very proud of it. Right? This is where time.
I don't know. I don't have a response to that because I actually don't know.
So the guests that we've had, including Sandra from my side too, could give you a pretty good answer on that. I think did we differ too much where I probably couldn't give you a good advice here, but I think the guests we've had, if you ask that question to them, they could relate a lot better. I have a feeling just based on the guests we've had, I just knowing who they are. If you just DM them and be like, hey, this is where my mind's at. What do you think? I'm going
to. After I'm already thinking of 3 people.
They will give a better answer than I can, for sure.
Okay. Matt, that's my action item after the show. I'm actually going to DM a couple of friends of mine. A couple have been guests. I'm going to ask them about their mindset in content creation and this exact.
I won't even put it on content creation. It could be because it's really anything. Like in business, like look at Chipbot. It took 3 years, 2018 to 2021. It's like eating dog shit. Like, that means it took 3 years to make like something.
True.
Versus someone else, it only took like 5 seconds.
True.
Think about that. So I said 1 year as the example. It took me 3 years. So nothing like now once you go through it once, you realize, oh yeah, time doesn't mean shit.
Time doesn't mean shit. That's a good ending for today.
Yeah. we have to be constant to our listeners. So
I love that.
Anyway, we'll tie it here. We'll follow up. We have to follow up with the conversation on.
This is a good one.
But Anne, thanks for jumping on. We took a longer episode today, but it all worked out. It's Friday, so
we did it. Thanks for your thoughts. I loved where this conversation went and started. I mean, it's almost 2 different topics there. Maybe we can.
We'll see. All right.
Thanks, Matt.
Take care. See ya.
Bye.